Good evening and greetings of peace. For the last 1 hour, every word we heard, every word we read was vibrating at the highest frequency, and that's the frequency of peace. And I think that 1 hour, when we were consuming every word of peace, I'm sure each one of you is already experiencing that peace within. Do you feel that? Yeah? Yeah? Do you feel at peace, or were we just listening and talking and reading about peace? Two different things, right? So how many of you feel that you're more settled, more calm, more at peace in the last 1 hour while you're here? And important decision is, how many of us today decide that when I leave from here this evening, I'm going to live a life of peace? When we say we are celebrating a culture of non-violence, we are celebrating the Mahatma. So when we are appreciating his thoughts, when just reading that thought can give us such a peaceful feeling, what would living the thought give us then? Just listening to it, just reading it is making us feel peace. If we start living that thought, how would life become? How would life become? We all want a peaceful world. We all want a peaceful world. There is no one who doesn't want a peaceful world. And Mahatma Gandhi ji said, be the change you want to see in the world. Which means if we want a peaceful world, solution is very simple. Very simple. Eradicate every trace of violence from your mind. And very soon, we will create a peaceful world. What is the world? The world is sum total of every mind on this planet. If we see this whole right now, and if someone had to come and check what's the energy of this whole, so the energy of this whole would be 1,000 minds put together. So if these 1,000 minds are peaceful, the energy of this whole will be peace. And if someone then walks in, they have to do nothing to feel peace. They will just walk in and experience that vibration of the room, and they will experience peace. But if 1,000 minds in this room are experiencing stress and anxiety and anger and fear, then this room will vibrate at the frequency of aggression. And then when someone walks in, they have to do nothing to experience that aggression within. And if someone is not able to take charge of their emotions, then the aggression within translates into aggression in words. Still not able to take charge of themselves, aggression within will translate into action. And when it translates into action, we call it terror in the world. And then we sit back and we say, how are we going to eradicate terror from the world? You and me don't have power to eradicate terror from the world. The leaders of the country will do that. But you and me have the power to eradicate terror from our minds. And when we eradicate terror from our minds, be 100% sure you are contributing to eradicating terror from the world. And unless you and me eradicate terror from our minds, all governments put together cannot eradicate terror from the world. It's a collective responsibility which each one has to take up. We can't put our fingers and say, who is going to create a peaceful world? Is it going to be the government of the country? Is it going to be the scientific community? Is it going to be the religious community? No one community can create peace in the world. It has to be each one of us. And that's what Mahatma Gandhi stood for. He didn't say, who will create freedom in the country? He said, I will take charge. So it has to be personal responsibility. Are we going to commit today that we are going to live a culture of peace when we walk out from today? Yes? Can you close your eyes for 30 seconds and create one change in yourself? One change in your own way of thinking. We've read very beautiful thoughts in the last 10 minutes. One change in your way of thinking, in your way of talking, in your way of behaving, in your way of working with people. One change which creates peace. One change which radiates peace to people around you. And that one change contributes to creating a peaceful world. One personal change. One personal change. It's our contribution. Thank you so much. Now, when we heard, and we got the opportunity to hear it twice, and with subtitles the first time, so I'm sure everybody got the message very clear. So when we talk about non-violence, we're talking about a culture of peace actually. Because when we say the word non-violence, and I check myself and I say, oh, I don't indulge in any violence. You and me don't indulge in any violence, do we? Anyone here indulges in any violence? Nobody, right? Nobody. So we're already qualified when it comes to the word non-violence. But we can give ourselves credit for being non-violent only if we are checking non-violence at a physical level. To hurt somebody, to cause someone pain, to traumatize somebody, you only need to say one word and that would be enough for them. Do you think we can cause pain to people by saying words? Yes? Has any one of you ever been violent with your words? So non-violence is there. Don't say anything in your words. Just create very strong negative thoughts for somebody and send it to them. You have to do nothing. You can be very sweet in your words, perfect in your behavior, but if I just criticize somebody internally, if I'm very judgmental about people and I say, why are they like this? Why are they doing like this? How could they be like this? I cannot work with this kind of a person. I cannot live with this kind of a person. My every thought radiates to them and it's causing pain. I'm being violent in my thoughts. And so it's not non-violence only in action, it's non-violence in thought, word and action. Because thought, word and action is energy we're radiating out into the world. Anyone here creates anger? Oman is a peaceful country. And really it is. It is a very, very peaceful place. And you just land in this place and you can feel the vibrations of peace. There's no doubt about that at all. But there's always a little bit more that can be done, right? And which means, let's create a place where the whole world will travel and come here and say, do you know what? Not even one single person here ever gets angry. That's something to give to the world. That's something to give to the world. Because then we are truly living peace. Every time we create anger, every time we use wrong language, every time we criticize somebody, how much terror and pain we have created. People take days and days and sometimes years and years to forget the pain. And some people nowadays say, I can never forget what they said to me. Do they say that or no? I can never forget what they said to me. And which means that wound cannot be healed, what we have created. How much time did it take us to create that wound? 30 seconds. But they say they will not get healed. And so anger is violence. Anger is violence. If someone hits me, I may forget it. But if someone says one wrong word to me, I probably will not forget it for a lifetime. So sometimes words hit more than physical actions. Yes? Because it's the energy, the negative energy of criticism, rejection, and disrespect with which that word was said. It's that which hits very, very hard. And that's why violence with my thoughts and my words are radiating into the environment, and that is influencing some people, and then they are creating violence in action. The ones who are creating violence in action is a very small number. Very, very small number. And it's very easy to overpower that small number if this remaining big number stops creating violence in thoughts and words. We finished terror from the world. We finished. But if we sit and listen to the world news every morning and we say, look at what the mess the world is in, and then read that, absorb that, and then go to work every day and use the same method to get work done from people, then we are a part of the crime. We are contributing to what the world is today. Do you think that we can live our life without using anger? We are just celebrating the life of a Mahatma who created miracles with non-violence. Here we are talking only about our organization, our children, our family. Very simple. Do you think we can do it without using anger? I'm waiting. From when? From when? You know something? When we come together like this in these gatherings, it's not just to idolize somebody else. It's not just to applaud and say, wow, what wonderful work he's done. And we're talking of carrying forward this celebration for 2 years. So at least for 2 years, we can't create anger in this city. Otherwise, it just won't match what we are doing. We'll be talking and living something absolutely different. Yes? The beautiful quote here says, non-violence is the greatest force at the disposal of mankind, more powerful than the mightiest weapon. And here we say, just to run my office, just to run my company, just to get my children disciplined, I have to get angry. And we started calling it normal. We started calling it necessary. And when we were doing that, we were saying violence is necessary to get work done. People will not be our way. People will not behave our way. People will do something completely different from what I expected them to do. They are not in my control. But how I think, how I feel, how I speak, and how I behave reflects my culture of peace. We are going to live our life based on the Sanskriti, the culture of peace. And culture of peace means it's my culture, it's my personality. It has nothing to do with what they have done. If we are going to change our culture and our personality every time somebody behaves a different way, then we are losing our own integrity and authenticity. But we said, but you know what? He did that, so obviously I had to get angry. There's no obvious. I'm just saying that I don't have power over myself, and anyone and everyone can just come and make me go out of control. And when I started living a life like that, the first one to get affected was me. And then from me to my family, to my children, to my organization, and very soon it became a common energy of the world. So the bhajan said, no anger and no ego also. And we clapped. And we clapped, which means we agreed with what it was saying. The bhajan said, no criticizing anybody. Kisi ki ninda nahi karne hai. Any of us indulge in that violence? That's why I told you, non-violence is not what we are using. Sitting, 5 people sitting together just talking about somebody are indulging in violence. And we say, oh, it was just a harmless conversation, nothing. Nothing, absolutely nothing. And anyways, what wrong was I saying? She is like that, so I was talking about that. So what's wrong in that? We never got anything nice to see in the other person. Our attention went only to one weakness they had, one habit, one personality trait, which didn't match our definition of right. We only saw that one just meant what is my choice and where does my attention go. And if I have the habit of looking at weaknesses in people and then not just looking at them, thinking about them. And every time I'm thinking about somebody in not a very nice manner, I am radiating that vibration of criticism to them. And I'm radiating that energy into the world. And then it's not just looking at the weakness in them, it's not just thinking about the weakness in them, it's about talking about it to other people also. In an age where we say we don't have time, we seem to have all the time about talking for other people. And look at people talking about other people. No one gets up from the conversation and says, you know what, I'm getting late, I have to go. No. You sit and talk to them about spirituality and religion, you know what, I'm getting late. But you sit and talk about somebody else, you'll say, acha, and then. And next time you meet the same person at the party, you'll say, acha, par uska kya hua then? This is choice. What is it that I'm indulging in at every moment? And after doing all this, I'm saying I want a peaceful world. Peaceful world means where I radiate respect, acceptance, and love for everybody. And so the second agenda, if we want to be non-violent, is that we will not be criticizing anybody. Criticism is the deepest form of violence. It is we are rejecting them for who they are. And we don't criticize strangers. We often criticize our own children. We often criticize our own children. And we think we're doing it for their good. Saying to somebody, you just cannot do it. You always seem to drop things. Even a simple thing like this is violence because you finished his or her inherent capacity to be confident. You finished it. Just finished it by saying it to them, you're no good, you can't do it, I don't know what will happen when you grow up. You finished the self-respect of that person. That's violence. They can't come out of it for a lifetime. A lot of people today, the personality trait that they carry and who they are is a result about what their parents and their teachers said about them while they were growing up. And they still believe that about themselves and they say, no, I cannot do it. I say, but why can you not do it? No, I cannot do this. Who taught them this, that they cannot do this? And when every word we said about them, they used that word to create an image about themselves. They were 5-year-old that time. Today they are 50-year-old, but they are still living with that image. We finished their self-respect. This is violence. Giving somebody a solution, empowering them to bring out the best in them is one way of living, and you can create magic which they never thought they could ever do. If someone is not able to do something properly, one way of saying is, your best, I am 100% certain you can do this better than anybody else. Just keep saying it and saying it and saying it and thinking it and believing it, and your thoughts will radiate to them, change their personality and bring out the best potential from them. That's one way of living. And one way of saying is, no, you're not good, you can't do it, you were not able to do it last time, you'll never be able to do it. And when we do that, we finish their inherent capacity. This is violence, and this they can be our own children, not somebody else in the world. So criticism is verbal violence. Criticism in my thoughts, criticism in my words. Can we pledge that I can give up this one habit? I'm waiting again. Why is it that we find it difficult to say the yes? Yes? It's only a habit. How much time would it take to change a habit? How much time would it take to change a habit? How much time would it take to change a habit? Who created the habit? Who created the habit? I created it. How did I create it? Just by doing that for another 10-15 days, I create a habit. Who can change my habit? I can. What do I need to change an habit? To want to change it? And why I should change it. Rest is all done. Why should I change my habit? Because it is harming me, it's harming them, and it's harming the world. That's why I should change the habit. And the want to change the habit is your choice. When you have these two things, changing the habit is the easiest thing to do. It's the easiest thing to do, changing a habit. So tomorrow, small practice. Everyone you meet tomorrow, begin with your spouse first thing in the morning, then your children, then your people who work with you at home, then on the road, then at work. Just one day experiment, consciously looking at one beautiful quality in each one. Everyone has so many beautiful qualities and a few weaknesses. It's our choice where attention goes. We enter this hall, there is so much beauty here to appreciate. And there could be one stain on the carpet there. There could be one stain on the carpet there. And what if somebody walked in, ignored everything, and said, how could that carpet be dirty in that corner over there? So what will you say to them? What will you say to them? Same applies for everyone we criticize. Same applies for everyone we criticize. But you know why our attention goes to their weakness? Because it is their weakness in response to whom we start creating irritation, pain and hurt here. And that's why attention goes only at their weakness. And then we say they're very irritating people. Do you have any irritating people in your life? You have any irritating people in your life? Yeah, they're very irritating people. When I say so-and-so is a very irritating person, I am saying this person has the power to create irritation in me always. So I just label them as irritating people. One day take that irritating person to 5 more people and see whether that person is able to create the same amount of irritation in other people. They are not able to do it. The mobile rings. We don't get disturbed. Do we get disturbed? Do we get disturbed? Who is irritating, the phone, the ringtone, or the person who forgot to put the phone on silent? Who's the one who's irritating? It's only my mind which is creating a thought. Why could they not put their phone on silent? The ringtone is a beautiful music. Somebody spent half an hour trying to select that best music on their phone. Really. People put in a lot of effort to select the best ringtone on their phone. And so if I want, I can just enjoy the music. But it's my mind which says, I expect everyone to put their phone on silent. And we thought just because we have that expectation, everybody will put their phone on silent. And then people didn't do it. They were not ready to be our way. And just because people were not our way, I created irritation. But when I created that irritation, that innate violence, I didn't even say I am creating it. I said they are creating it for me. And then I labeled them as irritating. And every time I was in a gathering and every time a phone rang, I got irritated always. And one decision today, when so many people are together, some person will forget to put their phone on silent. Some people will choose not to put their phone on silent. Ask me, I see a lot of people in gatherings. And some people will choose to pick up their phone, have their entire conversation sitting on the first row, and then tell their family, wait, yeah, she's still talking, I will come after half an hour home. And I can look at them, smile, and wait for them to finish their conversation, and they will do what they want. This is life. This is life. Because according to them, what they are doing is absolutely right. And she's going to look at me and say, so what do you expect? That while you're talking, I should not pick up my child's phone? That's your idea. I will live my life my way. This is life. Now it's my choice whether to accept that phones will ring, to accept that people will choose to be their way, or to create irritation every time people are not my way. That's a choice. And if I choose to get irritated every time people are not my way, then I am very rarely peaceful. Very rarely peaceful. Because in an entire day, if we meet 100 people, how many do you find are exactly your way? How many of you are blessed with children who are exactly your way? Not a single one has children exactly your way? And does it never ever occur to you that if my own child can't be my way, how can the world be my way? How can the people I work with be my way? How can the stranger on the road be my way? And if I can accept and love my child, why can I not do that for everyone else? That's the message of Mahatma, love and acceptance for everyone. So are there any irritating people in our life? That's about love and forgiveness. It's not they who are irritating. It is who I was creating irritation in response to what they were doing, and today I choose not to. Today, if you take a decision that mobile phones do not disturb me, trust me, after this you will enjoy every mobile phone which rings in any gathering. It's just a decision. It's just a thought here. That's all. I went to somebody's house and that brother was meditating, and I said, how was the meditation? He said, very irritating. I said, how can meditation be irritating? He said, you know what? My wife insists on talking to her sister when I choose to meditate. She will talk in those 10 minutes only when I will sit for meditation. I said, it's okay, but you were meditating. You should be a little more peaceful and calm. He said, but why does she have to do that? And while he was saying all that, You know, in India, we have these hawkers who are selling the vegetables on the road. And so somebody was passing down selling their products, and I could hear that person shouting. And I said, "Isn't that very loud?" He said, "What is very loud?" I said, "That sabji wala, the vegetable." He said, "Huh, so?" I said, "So is that not disturbing?" He said, "No." I said, "He is louder than your voice, louder than your wife." He just looks at me and says, "Sister, he has to sell his sabji. But my wife should not talk on the phone when I am meditating. That is life." If I accept somebody, there's no disturbance. If I expect from people, it's disturbance always. It's all a thought. It's not about the noise. It's not about the volume. It's not about who is doing it. It's about whether I have accepted it or whether I have expectations. So we accept phones ringing. Because till you say, "I expect phones to be silent," then in the most peaceful program, you will be contributing by creating violence. And we all did when we got irritated for 10 seconds. Because we expect. So the deepest form of violence is actually expectations. I expect people to be my way. And if they are not my way, I get hurt. And when I get hurt, I blame them for my pain. This is deepest violence. You are the cause of my pain because I had expectations from you. So violence is very subtle. Peace is very subtle. The message of the bhajan was acceptance and love. Acceptance that each one is going to be. Why should we accept people? Because each one is going to be. Each one is going to be. Yes, each one is going to be different. They are not going to be my way. I am a peaceful being. I am a loveful being. I accept that they are different. I advise, I instruct, but I remain stable because I live by the culture of peace. This has to be our daily prayer. This is a daily reminder that I have to give myself. Every morning, if you say to yourself at least once, "I accept each one as they are. I respect each one as they are." And very soon, within a few days, your old belief system which said, "I expect people to be a certain way," will just go away. And acceptance doesn't mean that people should not do things right. Acceptance just means they do not have the power to create any disturbance here. I am peace when I am living and working with different people. Peace is not when we're living alone. I don't have to leave the world and go somewhere else to be peaceful. If I want to create a peaceful world, I will need to create the habit of being at peace when people around me are different from what I want them to be. When people are the way you want them to be, when people are nice to you and you're peaceful, doesn't require anything to be done. But when people are not your way, when people are absolutely opposite of what you want them to be, then to think, speak, and behave with peace is contributing towards creating a culture of peace. Can you be nice to someone who's not been nice to you? You walk into this room. You walk into this room and you walk up to somebody because you know them and you thought you'll go and meet them, and they look at you and they turn away. What's the next plan of action? They look at you, they see you, they ignore you, they turn away. Simple. Not a very big situation, ordinary. How will we respond? Three options. Actually, many options, but three, let's see now. One, if this turn that way, I turn this way. That's an option of violence. That is an option of violence, which means I have hit you with an ugly thought right now. You were already in pain. The most beautiful line which the bhajan began with is, serving those who are in pain. Serving those who are in pain is not those who are only physically in pain. But most important today, need of the hour is to serve those who are emotionally in pain. If somebody looks at you, ignores you and turns away, they are terribly in pain. Because normal people don't behave like that. So they are unwell. Unwell because of their ego, unwell because of their past hurt, unwell because we didn't meet up to their expectations, whatever may be the reason, they are unwell. A peaceful being serves those who are in pain. It's easy to serve those who are physically in pain. It's easy to be compassionate to those who are physically unwell. But if you look around yourself, you'll find a lot of people who are emotionally unwell today. Emotionally unwell. And so if that person looks at you and turns away, please remind yourself, I am a peaceful being and I serve those who are in pain. So what would be the option then? Be yourself. Just be yourself. Don't change just because somebody else was unwell. Don't consume their emotional pain. Be yourself, the normal self, the peaceful self, the loving self, the respectful self, and just go up to them and talk to them. And if they do that a second time, and they do that a third time, and they do that a fourth time, they are still unwell, but we are absolutely healthy and we're ready to serve the world. That's how we will create a peaceful world, just by being ourself, because ourself is a very beautiful, pure, divine, peaceful self. It's only that pure self which does not find purity there, we change ourselves. And we say, if they don't talk to me, why do I need to talk to them? If they don't wish me, why do I need to wish them? This is violence, which means if they hit me, I hit back. And that's what the quote said, eye for an eye. And we clapped. You have to remember everything you clapped for. Because it means I agree with what it was saying, and which means I will not do eye for an eye. Which means I will not return to people what they have given to me. I will be what I am, peaceful, loving self. Today is the day to forgive. Is there anybody you're holding on your mind who's not been very nice to you somewhere in the past? Is there? Then today is the day to forgive. Not forgive them, forgive yourself. If someone's not been nice to me, and nice could be really, really, really not nice to me, but if I've been holding on to it on the screen of my mind, then who is the one who was in pain? Who is the one who was in pain? I was in pain. And because I was in pain, I radiated those negative vibrations to my body. I also created disease in the body just because they did something which was not right. I harmed myself. The one whom we terrorize the most, ourselves. Someone just walks up to you and says, I don't like the dress you're wearing. Finish. They say it and they go away. After that, I terrorize myself. How could she say this? And that too, she said it in front of everybody. Has she seen her own dress? Is this the way to come? Terrorize. This is terror, where I create every thought which causes pain to me. That's terrorism inside here. And so all that I have to do is to eradicate that terrorism inside to create a peaceful world. So if we've been holding on to anybody on the screen of our mind, and it's been really, really long, gift yourself peace today. They did what they felt was right. They did it because they were emotionally unwell that day. Compassion for them, and most important, compassion for yourself. We've got into the habit of saying, I just cannot forgive. And even if I forgive, I cannot forget. So when we repeatedly say, I cannot forgive, I cannot forget, I cannot, we will not. But if I say, I forgive, I release, and I let them go from my mind. Because what they did, I don't deserve to hold that here. I don't. Just for the next few days, every morning, spend 1 minute for yourself and say, I forgive, I forget, I release, and I let go. Doesn't matter what was the size, the magnitude of what they did. Releasing is still only one thought. And if I want to hold on to something, then I hold on to simple things like somebody didn't like my post on Facebook today. It's just a choice. And then I decide not to like their post tomorrow. This is what we can do. Power of the thought. And that's why the first thought in the movie was, it's the thoughts who make us as a person. It's my thought. So if I want to hold on, I can hold on to something as simple as that. And if I want to release and let go, I can release the worst that somebody has done to me. It's the power of the mind. So all that we have to do is every day say it, I forgive, I forget, I release, I let go. There was a sister who came to the Raj Yoga Center to us in Delhi. She had been abused as a child when she was 5 years old. Today she's over 40. But she led a life of hatred and resentment. She hated her parents. She didn't trust people. She didn't get married. She lived alone because she felt she just can't trust people at all. 35 years she had held on to that hatred. And then when she came and she started meditating and she said, that person who abused me, first and foremost, he abused me physically, and he did it only that one day. But I have emotionally abused myself for 35 years. And she said, today I need to forgive myself. And she did it. She did it. It's that simple. It's just an understanding, what do I do to myself by holding on to things over here? It's not about them. So should we sit in silence and let them go? You want to do that? Yes? And what's going to be our culture of peace from tomorrow or tonight? 1. First, to do on the list. First, no anger. No anger, no irritation, no. They will be their way, I will respond my way. A response of respect and dignity for the other person. A response through my culture of peace. Do you think I can go back to India and say, do you know what? Muscat is a no anger city. Do you think we can do that? Yes, we can do that. Yes, we can. Let's give them that very, very strong message. And when one does it, you know, the most important learning from Mahatma is the power of one. It's the power of one. Only one has to do it for the world to change. We are waiting for the world to change. So one is no anger zone. Second is no criticism. Accepting and appreciating people. Looking at the goodness in them tomorrow. No speaking ill and no listening to anybody speaking ill of someone. Acceptance is my nature. And I do not hold on to anyone on my mind. I release, I let go, I forgive myself. We don't have to forgive them. We have to only forgive myself. Even if we just do these 3 things, we've contributed greatly towards creating a peaceful world. A peaceful mind, peaceful thoughts, having pure vibrations in the food we eat plays a very important role. We are what we eat. So our food needs to carry an energy of purity and peace. The way we earn money has to be with dignity and respect, so that the money which is coming home is coming peacefully. And then being peace is a natural way of living. Let's take a moment of silence and let's visualize I, the peaceful being. And after these few minutes where we prepare ourselves for the way of living, when we start moving out, we will walk out in silence. Let's spend next 15 minutes as we drive home with ourselves in silence. Absorbed so much today, we have to take a decision. What am I implementing in my lifestyle? So 15 minutes when we walk out, drive home, peaceful being. Look at your next 24 hours. I am a peaceful being. My every thought, my every word radiates peace to the world. I am an angel of peace. Peace is my nature. Acceptance is my nature. Respect comes natural to me. Whatever may be the situation tomorrow, however may be their behavior, I am a peaceful being. I respond with peace. I live a culture of peace. Today I release those who I was holding on to on my mind. No more causing pain to myself. They did what they had to do. Today I will do what I have to do. They wronged me, but I will be right to myself. I forgive myself. I release, I let go. I release, I let go. I am a peaceful being. Next 15 minutes is my time. My time to shift towards a culture of peace and acceptance, of unity and respect. would request the dignitaries on the first row to start walking out first in silence. Even when we walk out in silence for 5 minutes, we actually are radiating vibrations of peace to the world.